Good afternoon and welcome to SAIT Newsfile. I'm Alex Day. Michael King will have sports coming up, but first let's get a breath of fresh air with Graydon Racine. How is it out there, Graydon?
It's actually pretty chilly, Alex. Today we had a high of 2 degrees, but with that wind chill, it's made it feel more like -5. But nothing compares to the all-time high in 1926 of 20 degrees. That's absolutely beautiful. And as far as this week goes, I have a little bit of a mixed reaction to the weather, but we'll get more on that later.
All right, thanks, Graydon. So, Michael, a big loss for the Flames last night. Matt Sagan's 1,000th game didn't quite go as he wanted it to.
Well, it was great in the first period. The crowd gave him a standing ovation for his 1,000th game. He's going to be getting his silver stick soon. And then they lose 4-0 and the crowd boos them off the ice. So mixed reaction at best.
Not what you wanted. We'll look more at that later. First, let's get to today's top news stories. New charges have been laid in relation to the murders of 2 Calgary men last year. Police have been working closely with other law enforcement agencies to gather as much evidence as they can. Sheehan Haggerty reports on the ongoing investigation. The Calgary Police Service Homicide Unit has arrested a suspect in relation to the May 2017 gang-related murders of Colin Reitberger and Anise Ammer. Detectives are currently interviewing the suspect, whose name will be released once charges have been laid. Police are still looking for the driver of a red Dodge Durango that dropped off the accused at a gas station following the murders. Christian Geoffrey Ouellette was arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder in June of last year. Earlier this month, Blaise Dallaire was charged with 1 count of weapons trafficking for his role in the violence. It is believed the incident was related to a gang feud between Reitberger and Ouellette, and that Ammer was not the intended target, but merely a bystander. A 24-year-old suspect of a string of bombings in Texas ended a car chase by blowing up the vehicle he was in this morning. Austin police found the man in a hotel parking lot and, while waiting for backup, followed him to a nearby ditch on the side of the interstate highway. A SWAT team was approaching the vehicle when the suspect set off a bomb, killing himself in the blast. 2 people were killed and 5 more injured in the string of bombings, the latest happening yesterday at a FedEx facility in San Antonio. Police are unsure if the man was acting alone, and Austin's mayor is asking the public to keep an eye out. Austin's police chief hasn't released the name of the suspect and says the motivation for the bombings remains a mystery. Weeks of campaigning have come to an end, the polls are closed, and SAIT has a new executive council. There's one familiar face on the council, however, she does have a new title. As Sheehan Haggerty reports, the new council is wasting no time getting to work. The NDP was deliberating the 2018 budget today, and it was just released. Ebun Adewale was in the lockup and has all of the updates for us. Ebun, what are the big changes to the budget? The conversation continued today around the possibility of a 2026 Winter Olympics bid. Taya Yusin has been following the story. Taya, it seems the marathon of Olympic talks isn't going to end anytime soon. Work begins on the Glenmore Dam and will continue through to 2020. Experts say despite the dam being 85 years old, it still has a lot of good parts and just needs some upgrades. The city is installing a new bridge deck, additional structure supports, and steel gates. The steel gates are key because they can withstand ice loading, and it allows the dam to store more water over the winter months. Flood mitigation is also on the mind of officials. However, they say an event the size of the 2013 floods is too much for the Glenmore Reservoir, even with the updates. In terms of recreation, the Heritage Park's SS Moyi will be out of commission due to the controlled lower water levels this season. The South Glenmore boat launch will be closed as well, but the city is setting up a temporary launch near Heritage Park to make up for the traffic. Cleanup continues after the roofs on 2 riding arenas collapsed south of Calgary on Monday. One of the buildings is at the Millerville Racetrack and Agriculture Society, and the other in Okotoks. The buildings collapsed within hours of each other, and luckily no one was hurt in either incident. The feeling amongst those who use the buildings is a mix of fear and gratefulness. Those are today's top stories. Graydon will have your full forecast for you after the break, but first he's going to tell you about the plethora of activities happening in Cowtown this week. Well, Michael, the trip to Quebec for the men's basketball team didn't turn out as they wanted.
No, unfortunately not. And good news is that a lot of teams are going to be returning, so they're going to be hoping to move this into next year and hopefully take home the gold at some point.
In the world of curling, the Canadian women's team is having a pretty good success so far at the World Championships.
Absolutely. They had an easy start to the tournament, going through a couple easy teams, and then hit the meat of the schedule over the last couple of days. won all the games. They got an easy couple games coming here, so it's exciting. We're going to see the playoffs coming up here.
Looking forward to it. 0.8%. That's tough. We'll see if they can get through tonight. Coming up after the break, we're going to take a look at why SAIT students chose the school and why it's a leader here in Alberta. SAIT celebrated its centennial last year, and now another school year is almost over. As Corey Bukoskis reports, there are many reasons people consider SAIT for the next step on the path to their chosen career. What do you guys think? You excited for that one?
Definitely. I still can't get past his face, though.
Well, the first movie was so good, and he's so invested in this character. You basically made this movie happen, so it's going to be exciting. He's getting a second one, maybe a third one.
Well, and it really changed the way that Marvel kind of looks at their movies, and with the rated R rating, it's a little bit different than before. So for Graydon Racine, Michael King, and myself, Alex Day, have a great night. Thanks for watching SAIT Newsfile.